And you're taping.
Okay, hi guys, my name is Stephanie King and I'm going to be teaching today. And today we're going to be learning about the genetic and environmental causes of major depressive disorder. So first, I just want to go over our learning targets for today. We're going to learn about what major depressive disorder actually is and its typical symptoms. Then we're going to learn some of the genetic and environmental causes of major depressive disorder and how they interact with one another. And then I want you guys to understand what a serious disorder, major depressive disorder, is and how it can affect yourselves and people around you. So, please answer question 1 on your worksheet. Put the name and date. Does everybody have a worksheet, first of all? Awesome. Okay, so please answer question 1, which is what do you think major depressive disorder is? And what do you think people with major depressive disorder exhibit as symptoms? It's fine if you don't know anything, just put down a guess. We're going to go over this, so I'll give you guys a couple minutes to do that. Do you guys have any questions? Just if you need to write an explanation for it, then just any guesses. Do you have any questions so far? You guys good here? Yeah. That's fine. Yeah. Yeah, that's it's called impairment. Okay, so it looks like everybody has something written down. Can I have someone volunteer their answer? Cole, what did you put down?
Yeah, I said I think major depressive disorder is when people get really depressed and it affects your daily habits of eating habits or sleep.
Okay. What do you mean by effects?
So say like if you're really depressed, you're going to eat a lot or you eat less.
Right.
Or
That's
like if you're depressed, you can't sleep or you sleep too much.
That's actually a really good guess. So in technicality, major depressive disorder is, and you should write this down, the correct definition, is a form of depression in which the person suffers at least one major depressive episode. Well, what's that? A major depressive episode is categorized by a low mood or an inability to experience pleasure or both for more than 2 weeks, combined with several cognitive and vegetative symptoms and the occurrence of distress or impairment. What does that mean? Okay, so we're going to break it down. So basically, a low mood or an inability to experience pleasure is just you're sad or you're not feeling happy, okay? And you have to feel that way for more than 2 weeks. And that's a very important time period. And combined with several cognitive and vegetative symptoms and the occurrence of distress or impairment, that just means you're not functioning the way you normally do. So let's say you have an exercise routine and you exercise for a half an hour every day. But then suddenly for a while you're just not exercising, you don't talk to your friends as much as you do, you kind of, Natasha used a great word, you're feeling reclusive. That's basically what that means. Does anybody have any questions about the definition? Awesome. So, oh yeah.
So how do we know that we're feeling?
It's hard because feelings of happiness or sadness is really subjective to every person, and that's actually why researchers are having such a hard time finding one cause for depression. So we're going to talk about subjectiveness a bit later. So symptoms, Cole, you were actually right on a couple, like insomnia or hypersomnia. That's when you sleep too little or too much. Others are regular fatigue, feelings of worthlessness or guilt almost every day, so you don't feel good about yourself. Impaired concentration, you can't concentrate. Indecisiveness, lack of interest and pleasure in almost all activities. recurring thoughts of death or suicide, and then significant weight loss or gain. And that's defined by a change of more than 5% of your body weight, so you either lose 5% of your body weight or gain 5% of your body weight within 1 month. Okay. So something important we need to cover is why are people studying depression? You know, what's so important about it? Well, it's really because researchers have been looking for cures and causes of depression for a really long time, but not a lot is definite, even now. And so they're trying to find more and more possible causes to fit every different symptom that people have. Also, it affects a huge number of people. It's estimated that 1 in 5 Americans will experience a major depressive episode at one point in their lives. That's 1/5 of the total population of our country, and that's a lot. And major depressive disorder is not specific to age, race, or gender. There are higher or lower statistics for every demographic, but it can literally happen to anyone, anywhere, at any time. So it's kind of scary almost. Okay, so one aspect that researchers are really looking at for a cause of major depressive disorder is serotonin. And serotonin is a hormone whose levels in the brain affects the person's mood. And for those of you who don't know, a hormone is a chemical substance that helps specific parts of an organism function. And serotonin is manufactured by neurons which release serotonin at synapses. And a neuron is a nerve cell that sends and receives electrical signals over long distances in the body. So I said it's produced in a synapse, and a synapse is a point of connection between two neurons. You guys got that? I know it's a lot of definitions. Okay. So on your worksheets, you should have a picture, and that's of a serotonin synapse. So I have that same picture right here, and we're going to analyze it a bit. So you guys have blank spots on there. I'd like you to fill them in as I explain it. Okay. So there are 2 neurons right here, the presynaptic serotonin neuron and the postsynaptic neuron. And the presynaptic is where the serotonin is made, and the postsynaptic is where the serotonin can go. So we're going to look at this one first. So serotonin is produced from an amino acid called tryptophan with the help of the enzyme tryptophan hydroxylase. And that process of creating the serotonin is called synthesis. And then the serotonin is put into a vesicle. And the vesicle is basically just a small empty pouch used to transport chemicals. The act of putting the serotonin in the vesicle is called packaging. So then the serotonin is in the vesicle, it travels down the neuron, and then it is released into something called the synaptic cleft. And that's just the space in between the 2 neurons. Okay, and that process is called releasing. Okay, so once the serotonin is released, it can do one of 3 things. The first action is to go across the synaptic cleft and then bind to the receptors on the other neurons. The point of this is so the serotonin can help. Okay, do you guys remember that a neuron is a cell that sends and receives signals throughout the body? Well, when the serotonin binds to these receptors, it helps send and receive the signals with the neuron. The second option serotonin can do is go across and bind to the receptors on the presynaptic neuron. So it never actually crosses the cleft. And then it helps the functions of this neuron send and receive those electrical signals. Okay? Then the third option is actually pretty important. So this serotonin right here, if it encounters something called a serotonin transporter, it goes through the process of recycling, where the serotonin is put through the serotonin transporter and back into the presynaptic neuron, where it can be used again to either bind to this receptor, bind to these receptors, or possibly even be recycled again. Yeah, Natasha.
When you have medication for depressive disorder, does it affect the serotonin neuron itself?
It does try and trigger. We'll be talking about serotonin levels in relation to major depressive disorder, but most medications try to speed up the process of creating serotonin so you can create more. So yes, it does. It tries to increase your serotonin levels. Any other questions? You guys got this? Kind of understand it? A little? But a lot. Okay, so we talked about the recycling. And then it can be broken down into monoamine oxidase, which is another chemical